to our Tenebrae Good Friday service. The word tenebrae in Latin means darkness, and this will be a service of darkness as we remember the Word that was made flesh and the Word that would eventually die on the cross. We remember the light and we remember the darkness. Throughout this service, we will reflect on this light, and we will reflect on the extinguishing of the light. At the end of the service, when the final Christ candle light goes out, we will remember Jesus' death upon the cross. We will remember the sealed tomb, and we will remember the darkness that covered all of creation. At the end of this service, following the final reading where we remember the death, we will leave in silence. There is nothing more to say this day until we come back together and celebrate the resurrection on Sunday. And friends, now I invite you to join with me in the spirit of prayer. In the beginning, darkness covered the face of the deep. Then God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And every day since, the light has come and gone. The sun has risen and set. The moon has waxed and waned. The light is still with us. In the beginning was the Word, which brought all things into being. What has come into being through him is life, the light of all people. The light shined in the darkness, and the darkness did not overtake it. When God made the light, when the light of all people came into the world, God did not send away the dark. The darkness remains. God created the night for dreams and clarity, an exhaling of the light. O holy God, we enter into this holy darkness to bear witness to the light of the world who was extinguished by violence. Today we worship our incarnate God.
Jesus came out and went, as was his custom, to the Mount of Olives, and the disciples followed him. When he reached the place, he said to them, "Pray that you may not come into the time of trial." Then he withdrew from them about a stone's throw, knelt down, and prayed, "Father, if you are willing, remove this cup from me. Yet not my will, but yours be done." Then an angel from heaven appeared to him and gave him strength. In his anguish, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat became like great drops of blood falling down on the ground. When he got up from prayer, he came to the disciples and found them sleeping because of grief. And he said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you may not come into the time of trial." While he was still speaking, suddenly a crowd came, and one called Judas, one of the 12, was leading them. He approached Jesus to kiss him, but Jesus said to him, "Judas, is it with a kiss that you are betraying the Son of Man?" When those who were around him saw what was coming, they asked, "Lord, should we strike with the sword?" Then one of them struck the slave of the high priest and cut off his right ear. And Jesus said no more of this. But he touched his ear and healed him. Then Jesus said to the chief priests and the officers of the temple police and the elders who had come for him, Have you come out with swords and clubs as if I were a bandit? When I was with you day after day in the temple, you did not lay hands on me, but this is your hour and the power of darkness." Then they seized him and led him away, bringing him into the high priest's house.
Pilate then called together the chief priests, the leaders, and the people, and said to them, "You brought me this man as one who was inciting the people. And here I have examined him in your presence and have not found this man guilty of your charges against him. Neither has Herod, for he sent him back to us. Indeed, he has done nothing to deserve death. I will therefore have him flogged and release him." Then they all shouted together, "Away with this fellow! Release Barabbas for us." This was a man who had been put in prison for an insurrection that had taken place in the city and for murder. Pilate, wanting to release Jesus, addressed them again, but they kept shouting, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" A third time he said to them, "Why? What evil has he done? I have found in him no ground for the sentence of death. I will therefore have him flogged and release him." But they kept urgently demanding with loud shouts that he should be crucified, and their voices prevailed. So Pilate gave his verdict that their demand should be granted. He released the man they asked for, the one who had been put in prison for insurrection and murder, and he handed over Jesus as they wished.
As they led him away, they seized a man, Simon of Cyrene, who was coming from the country, and they laid the cross on him and made him carry it behind Jesus. A great number of the people followed him, and among them were women who were beating their breasts and wailing for him. But Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me, but weep for yourselves and for your children. For the days are surely coming when they will say, 'Blessed are the barren and the wombs that never bore and the breasts that never nursed.' Then they will begin to say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us.' For if they do this when the wood is green, what will happen when it is dry?" 2 others also, who were criminals, were led away to be put to death with him. When they came to the place that is called the Skull, they crucified Jesus there with the criminals, one on his right and one on his left. Then Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they cast lots to divide his clothing, and the people stood by watching. But the leaders scoffed at him, saying, "He saved others. Let him save himself if he's the Messiah of God, the chosen one." The soldiers also mocked him, coming up and offering him sour wine and saying, "If you are the king of the Jews, save yourself." There was also an inscription over him, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals who were hanged there kept deriding him and saying, "Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and us." But the other rebuked him, saying, "Do you not fear God, since you are under the same sentence of condemnation? And we indeed have been condemned justly, for we are getting what we deserve for our deeds. But this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." He replied, "Truly, I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise."
As we come now to this final text, we return to where our service began. We named one of the deepest truths of our faith, that in the beginning, when darkness covered all of creation, God spoke light into that darkness. And ever since that moment, light and darkness have existed together. This is the mystery of creation. We were reminded that through the Word, all things came into being, and that what came into being through Christ is the light of all people. And that light shines in the darkness, and that the darkness did not overtake it. And we were reminded that when God made the light, God did not send the darkness away, because even darkness is a part of the story. Darkness is a part of our story, where grief, truth, longing, and waiting are laid open. And this is where Good Friday leads us. We head directly into the darkness. This is the day where every illusion has been stripped away. The false promise of power has been exposed on this day. And we also see the violence at the heart of this story. This is the day where we see humanity at its worst. There is betrayal and mockery. There is cruelty and a crowd, a mob. And there is a willingness to shame, wound, destroy, and kill what is good. And yet, in all of this, another side of Christ is revealed. Even now, Jesus remains the way he always has been. Tonight, in a story of betrayal, in a story of drawn swords and rising panic, in a story where Jesus is crucified by the empire, in a story where Jesus dies upon the cross, even then, in his final breaths, he offers forgiveness. In every one of these moments, Jesus reveals God, a God who does not answer violence with violence, a God who does not save us through domination, and truly a God who loves all of creation, a God who loves our enemies, a God who heals oppressors, and a God who resists evil. That is the strange and holy good news of Good Friday. None of this story is supposed to be less brutal than it actually is. There is death on this day. But even now, on the day where we see the worst of human beings, Jesus' life of mercy, justice, forgiveness, and nonviolence is also revealed. Everything is revealed in this moment, both good and bad. There is violence and there is fear and there is oppression, but there is also a divine love all the way until the end. So now we come to the Gospel of Luke's final words of the crucifixion, when darkness covers the whole land, where creation itself seems to tremble beneath the weight of what is happening. This story, we hear the one, Christ, through whom all things came into being, now gives his Spirit to the hands of God. This is the moment that Good Friday has been leading to, the moment where the light of Christ is extinguished, where we feel the darkness of this day. After this final reading, we will sing Were You There? Following that song, when our song falls silent, there will be a loud noise that fills this room. This is a sound of upheaval and finality. This is a sound that will echo death and terror and grief. And after that, when the tomb has been sealed, we will depart in silence. There is no benediction, because the church should not speak too quickly here. Until Easter morning, there is nothing more to say. Our final reading. It was now about noon, and darkness came over the whole land until 3 p.m, while the sun's light failed, and the curtain of the temple was torn in two. Then Jesus, crying out with a loud voice, said, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." Having said this, he breathed his last.